You see, Daesh has occupied the west of the country, and they occupied the country from northern Baghdad to Mosul. And they now started to threaten the southern of the country by cutting the roads between and connection between Baghdad and the south, which is Jurf al-Sakhar. Jurf al-Sakhar is a very harsh place, is agricultural place, very tough, a lot of green. The Americans had a very, very tough time when they were occupying Iraq in controlling this area. They did give a lot of casualties at the time because Al-Qaeda then was very active. Now Daesh is very active. So they managed almost to reach at the outskirts of Hilla, which is south in Baghdad. So it wasn't very clear what Daesh was aiming for. They wanted to link up from this end to the other end of Diyala. And Baghdad will be isolated from the north, from the south, and the south will be cut off from the country. Don't forget, this is the bulk of the country, where Baghdad and the southern areas represent the major economy of the country, and probably the most population, they reside there in this area. So it was disastrous if Daesh succeeded in doing this. Now we had to push them back. It wasn't a surprise as such, but what we have achieved, we have proven that Daesh are defeatable. Daesh are resistible, because before they thought nobody can resist Daesh, nobody can stand in their way. With minimal forces, we managed to kick them out, and many of them were killed, and many of them fled to Ramadi and to the western of the country and to Syria, and that was a huge victory. It also shows that cooperation between different fighting forces, the volunteers in particular and the army, each one was not trusting the other. The volunteers, they thought, since the army has given up fight, they surrendered, we cannot trust them. They will do the same. Even some were labeling commanders, and others were ex-Ba'athists. They were cooperating with the terrorists. So there is lost trust between the two. The army at the same time looking at the volunteers as not respecting them, not really obeying their own laws, their own customs. But I wanted the two to fight together for a simple reason. A, the army has the training, the heavy machinery, and they have the infrastructure. While the volunteers, they are very brave. They will sacrifice themselves for the sake of the country. They're very courageous in fighting. I mean, everybody has a fear in their own heart, but I think they have this ability to overcome this fear. I want the two to learn from each other. I want the army to learn this aggressiveness and this courage and bravery from the volunteers, and I want the volunteers to learn discipline from the army. So it was vital for them both. You cannot substitute one with the other. You need both. And in Jurf al-Sakhar, they worked together in a need. Each one needed the other. We have little army units in that area, but they have the heavy machinery and they have the helicopters. So they helped the volunteers in that regard, and the volunteers worked with them. And I've seen the first sign of the volunteers are loving the army, and the army is trusting the volunteers. So I think we have succeeded through my all emphasis on this, that everybody should trust each other, should work with each other. I think I succeeded in Jurf al-Sakhar in achieving this. And again, I succeeded in showing that Daesh is defeatable.